Censorship protects you from misinformation. Why wouldn't you trust the people taking away your right to free speech?
Excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, without censorship, someone might send me medical information that could help me make an informed, consensual decision. I don't think Bill Cosby would like that. Trusting your own discernment about information in front of you should be illegal. If we were meant to use our own brains, then God wouldn't have given us censorship. Without censorship, it's like we'd have to be independent, functional adults. Hi, Mom. What should I eat for dinner tonight? Oh, you want freedom? Even if that means people are gonna die? Misinformation is the leading cause of death worldwide. I don't believe in considering different opinions. I'm not an extremist. I do believe 100% of the mainstream narrative. It's basically the word of God because it comes from CNN. Except I don't think they're wanting us to believe in God anymore for some reason.
Wait until that person finds out about personal responsibility, and I'm actually surprised that the woke crowd hasn't called that a form of white supremacy yet. They probably already have in some way. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ukadowski. We are Change.org. And in today's video, we will be breaking down the absolutely lunatic, discriminatory apartheid 2.0 policies in New York City, how they look like, who's complying, who's not, as patients are literally being taken off of organ transplant lists. People are being refused treatment for not going along with the predictive programming and agenda. Again, lots to talk about here. Some crazy developments in Afghanistan. We're going to get into that, plus a lot more. But before we do, the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was by Awaken with JP, who I've been seeing doing a lot of new videos, but hasn't been getting the usual viewership that he does. He does great content. The link to the full video that you just watched will be down in the description below. Definitely go out and check out his channel. And I have to agree with one person who commented on this video who said censorship is refusing to let a man have a steak because a baby can't chew it. And that's a very good point. Now, let's get into the latest utter disaster that's unfolding right now in the Middle East that was financed by your tax dollars and your blind ignorance to exactly what was going on, as of course independent media was trying to warn you. As we have a continued fifth day of chaos at the Kabul, Afghanistan airport, as U.S. soldiers are using tear gas, trying to, of course, push back the crowds, as Biden is announcing that he will be allowing refugees from that country into the United States, while, of course, U.S. soldiers still are finding it extremely difficult because of the current chaotic situation outside of that airport to help American citizens escape that current situation. All of this as literally babies are being passed throughout the chaos that is unfolding right now with an administration that is almost deliberately making this situation that much worse for everyone involved here. The people at the gates who were promised false hopes, the thousands of Americans, citizens that can't get home, all of this has been made worse by comments from the President of the United States, who, according to many commentators, had a car crash interview where he snapped at an ABC reporter as an irritated Joe Biden defended himself by saying that the horrible events that unfolded with people clinging on to aircraft happened 4 to 5 days ago. Yes, that was his official response to that direct question. He also said that there was no way to avoid this chaos, and let's just be honest here, that's blatantly not true. U.S. Senator Tom Cotton said that was a, quote, bold-faced lie, and the president has faced condemnation not only from his political opposition, but also people from his own party, the U.S. mainstream media, and pretty much everyone all around, since this was an Afghanistan screw job of epic proportions that is leading to a more desperate situation for everyone. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin admitted that the U.S. military could not escort anyone to the airport, including the overestimated 11,000 American citizens, because they feared that the Taliban could kidnap them as potential ransom targets. This, as many Americans can't make it to the airport, and the administration is prioritizing refugees, random individuals, over, of course, American citizens. Biden, of course, somehow tried to shift the blame against his military advisors and the previous president somehow. Even the vice president of the United States is accused of hiding and being extra camera shy after, of course, signing off on this decision personally herself, which she's definitely acting like she doesn't want the recognition for right now. Now, the might of the U.S. military currently is being ruled by woke doctrine prophesizers who previously talked about the biggest problem for the United States was white males. Individuals who were literally talking about books, how white people were responsible for all the evils of the world, were the ones at the helm during this decision, and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Mike Milley came out and actually took some questions and responded that they had no clue, no idea at all that the collapse of the Afghan army would happen in just 11 days. With some people commenting, oh yeah, that's probably because they were obsessed with trying to blame everything on white people, while also stating that they don't have the capabilities to help fellow American citizens stuck in Kabul right now, which, again, is a very stark difference to a previous army slogan which said no one will be left behind. Now, the son of the past president also came out on national television and said we could potentially face the largest hostage situation in the history of the world, which I think is a little bit of a hyperbolic, sensationalistic comment, but there is some merit to worry about the American citizens and how this utter mess will be unfolding from here, because it is definitely a messy situation, with even British government officials warning that they are afraid that the United States could fully pull out of the Kandahar airport within days, essentially leaving thousands of people stranded, as British diplomats are warning that the United States is keeping them in the dark and not sharing information about the ongoing situation on the ground there. It's also important to note here that the Biden administration tried to disband the federal agency, which was designed to assist U.S. citizens abroad 2 months before the fall of Kabul. Add to this with the lack of transparency, accountability, proper actions, and the latest news that in response to reports of women and children being shot, that the Biden administration is just writing a strongly worded letter to the Taliban. The fact that the Taliban is armed to the tune of billions of American dollars in the latest and greatest weaponry, along with Twitter saying that they're going to protect their speech on their platform while they banned a previous president, with China and Russia setting their sights on Afghanistan and working with them for their lithium deposits. What in the world is going on here? And in my opinion, it's order out of chaos. I discussed this a few days ago, specifically on LukeUncensored.com. I'm going to be doing another video later on today on our own unique private platform that is absolutely no holds barred, and we get to discuss whatever we want without any fear of retaliation. Again, lots of information that sadly I cannot share here on this platform. We'll be talking about that plus a lot more, all specifically on LukeUncensored.com. Also, I forgot about one of our oldest sponsors, SafePreparedAndReady.com. This is a company that I've been working with for a few years now. I have their products. I like them. I use them on hiking trips. If you're looking for food that could last you for over 25 years, could be stored very easily, actually has some taste. If you're trying to do a cheaper version, rice and beans are fine, but if you're looking for a premium storable food product that you could also take on camping trips that will provide you a 2,000 plus calorie a day amount of food, whether for 4 weeks, you could also buy the 3-month supply, the 4-week supply, whatever your needs may be. Personally, having some storable food gave me some peace of mind. That's why I started working with this company years ago. And if you're interested in that, go to safepreparedandready.com. The link is also down in the description below. Now, I think it's very fair to say that we're reaching a crescendo moment of absolute absurdity, as of course we're getting videos like this coming out of France showing police officers literally stopping children, elderly people, and concerned citizens from entering a supermarket because they refused to show their papers. They refused to jump through government hoops in order to get permission to be able to access basic human needs of food and water. Yes, food and water is being denied to people all over the world because of governments now demanding permission slips and for you to jump through their hoops in order for you to have the right to shop for food and water. The hoops that they want you to jump through, those same governments had multiple U-turns about, multiple mistakes about, as even famous podcaster Joe Rogan states that the amount of flip-flopping, lying, incorrect data shared, times that the government has got it wrong, has led to a lot of people mistrusting the government when it comes to this procedure that they demand everyone take. And in my own personal opinion, I do believe Joe Rogan has shared some very fair criticism that deserves to be addressed, especially after a landmark University of Oxford study that pointed out yet another glaring problem when it comes to this procedure. Again, we can't even talk about the exact details of what this University of Oxford study said. We will be talking about this on LukeUncensored.com, going over the science, going over the study. But I think it's very fair to say that the data, the science hasn't been figured out yet, as even NBC News is running headlines saying, where is the data on Delta? That there has been a lack of testing, a lack of common sense and understanding to what's happening here, since there has been absolutely poor, inadequate studies and experiments, if there even was in some cases. And with the federal authorities not being able to quantify what exactly is happening, the idea that they have the solution for what's happening is becoming more of a naive idea. Let's just be honest with each other here. Let's just have a real conversation, because if we don't have the studies, the data to know what's going on, what makes you think you have a solution towards something that you don't understand? But yet they continue on their discriminatory, apartheid-like policies, pushing for protocols that punish everyday, honest, hardworking individuals, as we're finding out that people who want to wait or have natural immunity, or whose medical professionals and doctors told them not to take this procedure because of potential allergies or big complications, we're also finding out that those people might face insurance surcharges. We're also finding out that colleges are implementing similar measures, charging some students $750 for choosing not to go along with this procedure, as is happening at a West Virginia university. Some universities are implementing Wi-Fi restrictions on students who don't want to take this procedure. And how's this helping people? It's not. It's only punishing people, making the situation that much worse. And the level of absurdity is reaching such a peak that a British man in Singapore is literally in prison for 6 weeks for not wearing a face mask. The man was also ordered to undergo a psychiatric assessment, and this is the future that your rulers want for you. This has been tested in Israel with their own domestic passport permission slip system, which now is reaching new levels of absurdity, as it will be requiring everyone over the age of 3 to show proof of this procedure or a negative test if they want to be in any indoor space. This exclusionary policy has created a situation where a large number of people did take this procedure, and very surprisingly, even though with the majority of the population they're complying, taking this procedure, cases are absolutely spiking in that country. Gee, how does that make sense when the majority of the population did what they were told, took the procedure, and now cases are skyrocketing? Wonder what's going on there. New York City also, of course, implemented a similar policy, with the mayor there recently hiring some hip-hop stars to promote him, the government, and this larger insanity being pushed on people, as now almost everywhere people go, they are greeted with security guards checking their identification and government permission slips in order to enter any indoor venues. Businesses have had to hire security guards, and nothing says health and safety like one security guard literally getting a paper that's been handed over by everyone and putting it in his hands and then giving it back, and then touching another person's paper, giving it back again. This is, again, from the same politicians that were saying showing your ID to vote was racist. Now you literally have to show your ID everywhere you go in New York City. This is the dystopian criminal reality reality where government officials try to get a hold of almost every aspect of your existence. Security guards, police officers, military men discriminating against you, denying you services because you didn't comply with the government. And of course, some businesses are suing. Some businesses are not complying. Good on them. They deserve help and support because this policy is itself overtly racist, discriminatory, and predominantly will be affecting blacks in New York City. And just when you thought the cruelty couldn't reach its highest point, we're now getting reports that people on organ transplant lists are being taken off that list for refusing to take this procedure, many of whom who had medical professionals and doctors advised them not to because of the larger fears of complications with their already existing condition. Yes, people are being taken off organ transplant lists, essentially being told to die because they're going against the wishes of their medical professionals and doctors who advised them not to take this procedure. In Alabama, a doctor is refusing to treat patients who didn't take this procedure. I wonder if he's also going to have the same policy against fat people with diabetes, cigarette smokers with lung cancer, gay men with HIV. If we're going to start punishing people and denying them services, denying them the ability to even get proper health because they didn't do what the government told them to do, we're reaching a level of dangerousness that this country has never seen before. This is not just insane, this is criminal. Denying people food, water, health, and human services because they want to wait for the data to come in. They want to wait for the science to be settled. They want to wait for politicians to stop lying to them about exactly what's going on is absolutely illogical and horrendous at the same time. These policies in Israel, in New York City, only benefit the super billionaire corporate banking class, as of course small businesses will have a very difficult time complying. Only the larger corporations will be able to exist in a way where they don't have to deny people human services. They won't be as affected as the small businesses. And again, just like the original lockdowns, who do these policies directly help and benefit? Well, the corporate billionaire class. Amazon, richer than ever. Walmart, Costco, all the other big box stores doing better than ever because they could comply with new regulations, new protocols, and it won't be any sweat off of their backs since, of course, with these policies, more people will have to use Amazon, which is also planning to open large retail locations and department stores all over this country, as of course they have literally, with their unfair competition, with their government puppets, have flattened any competition, destroyed small mom and pop businesses, all with the help of politicians that have assisted them to do this. These policies that are instituted don't help anyone except for the corporate billionaire class that is truly pulling the strings of government and is causing more absurd, absolutely cruel policies that history will dictate as absolute evil and will be its harshest critic. That's my own personal opinion. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why in the comment section below. But yet again, this is only the beginning. The levels of discrimination are only going to continue as long as people comply. Every small action that you take, every business that you give money to, every purchase you make, you incentivize, you vote with your dollar. Vote very carefully. Make sure you support and help out businesses that are doing the right thing and not hurting other people out there. I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.